appeal for a man who dedicated his life serving others. Policeman sentenced to 30 years for murder. And the Hunters to train at Broncos homeground.
This is National MTV News with Miriba Tulo.
Good evening on this Christmas Eve. Thank you for joining us on National MTV News. Roger Hawofa is not new to lending his voice to raise funds for a worthy cause. With over 50 years in radio, Roger is no stranger to appeals, whether for disaster victims or for individual medical cases. This time, the appeal is different because it has his name on it, and as Sarah Aupong reports, it is not an easy task for him.
His is the unmistakable voice that has become synonymous with talkback radio in PNG.
Enjoy the game.
While the voice has not wavered, physically, Roger is showing signs that all is not well.
They spun my blood pressure and everything and found out everything was normal, except that I don't have the kidneys anymore.
Due to Roger's kidney problem, his immediate need is to undergo dialysis.
Dad's on dialysis at the moment, and the end goal is to have a kidney transplant. But both options here in Papua New Guinea are very costly.
Through the discovery of Roger's medical condition, his family is finding that information, support and treatment for kidney patients in PNG is not easy to access, even in Port Moresby. Through the public system, dialysis treatment is offered through an NGO, the Kidney Foundation.
So for an average Papua New Guinean who can't get into the Kidney Foundation and who is not able to afford 2,000 kina a week, unfortunately, I think it's quite clear they don't have any other option but just to go home. And
for someone who is used to being of service to others, it's not an easy task to ask for money for himself. Roger and his family have decided that while the appeal will be first and foremost to raise funds for his treatment, it is also an opportunity to raise awareness on this disease and to advocate for better public health care for PNG.
Dad especially believes, and we all believe, that we've been given this opportunity to see what the needs are and to step in and try and help the best way we can.
My appeal to government for all the workers of Papua New Guinea to have a policy, a comprehensive medical policy. Many families are raising funds to send loved ones to get medical treatment overseas. They sacrifice a lot.
The Hawofa family have started fundraising with a 50,000 kina donation already received from the National Gaming Control Board. Sarah Aupong, National MTV News.
The spirit of Christmas was enjoyed by members of the Royal PNG Constabulary at Bomana in Port Moresby today. Senior police officers served food to junior police officers to honour a tradition known in the disciplinary forces as Spirit de Corps. Assistant commissioners from both the administration and operation arms of the constabulary took part in serving food for junior officers at the recruits' mess at Bomana this morning. These senior officers included Chief Inspectors Ivan Lakatani, Acting ACP Human Resource, Donald Yamasombi, Director of Crimes, and Sylvester Kalaut, Head of NCD and Central Commands. The tradition is honoured annually during the Christmas week. The small town of Kiunga in Western Province has hosted its first ever Carols by Candlelight. Organised by the Kiunga Police, the Carols by Candlelight was aimed at bringing the community together in the true meaning of Christmas. It's also to encourage the youth to be drug and alcohol-free this festive season.
It was a small but significant event for Kiunga Town in the Upper Fly district of Western Province. Hundreds, especially children, gathered around the town's main oval to celebrate the true meaning of Christmas. The Christmas Carols by Candlelight, organized by the Western Provincial Police Commander Sylvester Sika, United Churches, including several business houses, They came together and shared the joy of Christmas through different activities.
I thought that I would suggest something that maybe it can spark up the fever or the spirit of the Christmas. And it's about unity, getting everybody together, and we can celebrate in unity and in peace. And that is the theme which I selected.
Bishop of the Catholic Diocese of Daru and Kiunga, Jill Cortes, says the festivity is a time where the community must reflect on the true meaning of Christmas.
Yes, Jesus is with us. And yes, he came to save us from our sins. To have a Savior to free us from our sins is the reason for the celebration.
For me and my family, this is very good to meet other families, other denominations, other community members, and for us to take part in this is very exciting for all of us. It's a good learning for the children for now and the future. I believe this start will take the children, the new generation, a long way if we do it every year.
Stanley Over Jr., National EMTV News.
All is set for the Hospital Porman Foundation Carols by Candlelight extravaganza tonight. Preparations began earlier today with the setting up of the stage that will see top musicians in the country performing Christmas carols to start the celebration of Christmas Day tomorrow. Chairperson Janet Sios urged city residents to come out and enjoy the carols by candlelight, as it will be a time of family, joy and unity. EMTV will record the events and broadcast the carols by candlelight at a later time.
We invite all families in Mosby that want to take part in this event. This is an initiative of Hospital Porman Foundation, and come and join us in the fun and celebration at Murray Barracks Oval. The stage is ready to go and we're very happy.
The hustle and bustle of Christmas Eve was as chaotic as ever today in Port Moresby. As always, shops were congested with people rushing to do last-minute shopping for tomorrow's festive celebrations. Our reporter, Melissa Goviro, caught up with some of the shoppers today.
The highway to Port Moresby was filled with vehicles carrying passengers from as far as Karama and Sogeri. Most of them were in a rush for the mad Christmas shopping. Just one more day before Christmas, and the streets and shopping centres of Port Moresby are crawling with last-minute Christmas Eve shoppers. People from in and around Port Moresby are flocking in to buy Christmas gifts and Christmas spoils for the big day tomorrow. People like Anna Jo came in early yesterday from Karama.
I came last night by 600 to buy my Christmas cargoes to enjoy with my family at home.
For others, it was exciting to spend Christmas Eve with their loved ones.
We are here in Stop and Shop to buy some gifts for the Christmas party, and we are privileged to have this Christmas to celebrate with the families around the Papua New Guinea.
By this afternoon, shoppers from the Central Province were still waiting for transport to travel back home. But amidst the mad rush, people were just happy to spread Christmas cheers with everybody. Melissa Gavira, National EMTV News.
The last day before Christmas has been a massive day of sales for shops all across Port Moresby. Shop owners are happy with goods bought by shoppers who came from as far as Central and Gulf provinces. It is a very profitable time that comes once each year. Eric Harupma with this report.
While Christmas is the time of Thanksgiving, many shops in Port Moresby saw this as a moment of profit-making. Retail assistants said as the shops opened for business hours this morning, shoppers flocked into the stores for the last-minute Christmas shopping.
I came last night by 600 to buy my Christmas cargoes to enjoy with my family at home.
Shops everywhere saw long queues of customers and store goods flying off shelves. Shop owners are happy with this festive rush that helps them on balance sheet to close off 2015. Many shops in the nation's capital will close during the Christmas day.
Staff lo shop smart lo baik ni We would like to talk Merry Christmas on behalf of the management of the store. The security firm go logra value customers no mifla.
Many of the shoppers who came from outside of Port Moresby had just completed their shopping and waiting for the PMV to go back home. Many of them came as early as 8 o'clock in the morning, completed their shopping with boxes of goods, gifts and other materials that will cater for them to prepare for this festive season tomorrow. Eric Arukman, National MTV News.
You're watching National MTV News. Among stories after the break, the policeman who shot and killed the wife of a businessman in Lae sentenced to 30 years in prison. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. The policeman who shot 22-year-old Moana Pisimi on the morning of January the 1st this year has been sentenced to 30 years in prison. National Court Judge Justice Fraser Pitpit handed down this decision at the Lae National Courts today. Jack Barria's time in custody will be deducted from his 30-year sentence. Colleen Barilai reports.
The National Court sentenced policeman Jack Barria to a 30-year imprisonment for the murder of 22-year-old Moana Pisimi in the early morning of January 1st this year. After several adjournments, the sentencing was handed down today by National Court Judge Justice Fraser Pitpit. According to the judge's ruling, evidence collected from a forensic investigation and medical reports from an autopsy of the deceased had proven the convicted had caused grievous bodily harm. In September this year, the National Court found Jack Barria guilty of murder. The court found that Pisimi died of a shot to the back of her head. The policeman has served 22 years in the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary. His 30-year imprisonment excludes the 3 months served in custody at Lae's Buimo Jail. This case has raised many questions from the public about the credibility and trustworthiness of the police force in keeping communities safe and free from trouble. Colleen Barilai, National MTV News, Lae.
Police Commissioner Gary Baki is planning on introducing selected university courses for police recruits come 2016. His comments follow the recent increase in the number of Year 12 school leavers entering the police college. Baki said the inclusion of courses like the public policy management is a step forward in teaching management skills for the recruits.
Commissioner Baki has been embarking on a positive output from the recruits. Its decision to introduce the public policy and management course is because of various criminal issues police deal with in their areas of operation. More emphasis is on discipline.
My intention is that I want to see that every, particularly commission officers at commission officer rank, I want them to come through this program because we are not dealing with police issues anymore. We need to open ourselves so that policing is both recognized academically in what we do.
Under the police modernization program, the Bomana Police College is being transformed into a college of excellence.
The Bomana Training College has seen refurbishment to 2 of its mess this year. The first, the officers' mess, and now the recruit mess.
The refurbishment was carried out through the Australia and PNG Policing Partnership Program at a cost of 1 million kina investment from the Australian government. The inclusion of PPM means recruits will be taking courses during their training at Bomana. This will apply to the police intake of 2016.
So it is seen as a career pathing for every young commission officer that comes into the hierarchical structure of the organization. That's one. Secondly, we also offer this to our policemen. There will be a criteria that is going to be set that once they come through a certain level of academic achievement, we push them through this one. So the idea is that Bomana being recognized as a center of excellence is not confined internally for the constabulary only. We are interlinked with the other higher learning institutions.
Thekla Gunga, National MTV News.
In an exclusive interview with MTV News, Police Commissioner Gary Baki has confirmed that the suspension of the police dog unit has been lifted. Baki said the decision to lift the suspension was to involve the unit in the police force's festive operations this year. Baki's comments were made during the opening of the recruits' dining hall at the Bomana Police College this morning.
The police dog unit was on suspension since November. All their vehicles and dogs were grounded, and their office became out of bounds for all offices. While the lifting of the suspension comes as a relief for the unit, Commissioner Baki said internal investigations into the incident between the two units are continuing.
I've been advised that investigations is ongoing into the incident involving the unit members and the college staff. I've also been told that the Internal Affairs Director has taken the investigation on.
On the night of November 13th, a member of the dog unit assaulted his wife, also a police officer attached to the Bomana Police Training College. While trying to stop the assault, the new recruits belted up the husband and seriously injured him. In retaliation, the husband returned to the college with his colleagues from the dog unit and destroyed police equipment at the gate of the college and assaulted two other police officers guarding the gate. This led to the indefinite suspension of the unit from the police hierarchy.
However, the suspension of the unit has been uplifted yesterday, and as of yesterday they've been redeployed for Christmas New Year operations within NCD. So I think it's important that the unit, the suspension is uplifted because they need to be part of the Christmas New Year operations.
The dog unit will be teaming up with police officers from the 8 police stations within NCD to carry out the festive police operations in Port Moresby and into the Central Province. Thekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
Negotiations are in place with other airlines to operate the PNG to Singapore route. Commerce, Trade and Industry Minister Richard Maru said this is to allow more competition within the airline market. Fabian Hakalitz reports.
The Commerce, Trade and Industry Ministry is working behind the scenes to push for the route between Port Moresby and Singapore. Mr. Maru said this is to allow more competition in the market.
We are also talking to other airlines to bring in new competition for the route between Port Moresby and Singapore. Many of our people go to Singapore to go to anywhere in Asia. Our businesses do the same.
While the Port Moresby to Manila routes has already been opened with the Philippines Airlines, the same will be with Singapore. This is to encourage other airlines to compete with Air Niugini to bring down cost.
Why is that important? We need to bring down costs so that we bring in more tourists and more business visitors to Papua New Guinea.
Law and order, high cost of airfares and accommodation are cross-cutting issues to tourism. With this, the national government has earmarked in investing in 3 world-class hotels to make Port Moresby a hub of the Pacific.
I'm happy to inform you that the government, as you know, has approved 2 projects. One is being built near Hohola by the MRDC group, so we can drive competition and build world-class hotels and drive the cost of hotels in Port Moresby down.
The cost of doing business is to drive the cost down and improve the business climate to allow more investment into the country. Fabian Hakalitz, National EMTV News.
And now a look at the finance news. The kina closed unchanged at $0.3345 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.3270 $0.4487 Australian dollars, $0.2964 euro, and 39.23 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, coffee, cocoa, and copra closed higher, while gold closed the day lower. Palm oil and copper closed lower, while crude oil closed the day higher. And on the stock markets, the Dow Jones closed 185 points higher, the ASX closed at 26 points higher, and the All Ordinaries closed 25 points higher. National EMTV News continues after the break. Housing for rural workers in Milne Bay, personal management assistance for ABG, and New Zealand's partnership with PNG. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. Housing public servants is a guarantee for access of government services in remote communities. People of South Makamaka in Alotau District, Milne Bay Province will now access basic health services in their village after many, many years, thanks to the opening of a health workers' house and an aid-post centre.
Recruiting public servants in rural communities has always remained an obstacle around the country. Lack of key services like road and communication always disappoints public servants and encourages them to move to urban centers. But for the Menapi people in South Makamaka, the opening of a community health workers' house will see basic health services provided. The 3-bedroom building will house the CHW officer to serve nearly 4 wards.
To the nearest health center, they work for nearly 4 hours. 4 hours to get there. What our member has done, we'll try and help the sick ones here.
The 8-post and staff house is built under the district's health sector rollout program for each local level government. Simon Nago, a village court official for nearly half of his life, says people will access more services if public servants are housed within the community. He says for Menapi people, basic services are now transforming their lives.
Services come on this place. Or dinghies or plus something come inside. Chainsaw.
And like other LLGs in Alatau district, the jetty project continues to roll out. A groundbreaking ceremony was witnessed by the people for a 3 million jetty project.
It's going to be built here at Menapi and the other one at Midino. And something like the one at Rabaraba. But Tarak is already done. So these two will be completed here, and then we're going to go and complete on Suave side.
Jack Lapave, Junior National, EMTV News.
The Department of Personnel Management will continue to support and provide technical assistance to the autonomous region of Bougainville. The assistance will be given to the Bougainville Public Service. Department Secretary John Carley said since the powers of the public service were transferred to the Bougainville government last year, the national government has continued to provide assistance.
We also not forget our brothers and sisters in Bougainville, in the autonomous region. We have extended a great deal of support, and we will continue to provide that support to them.
The New Zealand government will continue to foster its relations with the government of Papua New Guinea. This comes after New Zealand government's assistance in building the 6 Mile Market in Port Moresby. High Commissioner to Papua New Guinea, Tony Fautua, says New Zealand values the partnership that it has with PNG.
P number 1, partnership. P number 2 is people.
High Commissioner Tony Fautua speaking at the recent opening of the new Saraga 6 Mile Market in Port Moresby said the New Zealand government was keen to support Papua New Guinea. But for this to happen, partnership must be harnessed.
Partnership is very important, Lord New Zealand, to allow New Zealand government, come law inside country belong you and me, law supported law Papua New Guinea's aims and objectives.
The New Zealand government's focus is on people. Mr. Fautua said the new market will make trading easier, generate income and create jobs. And a challenge for residents and vendors is to look after these assets and maintain cleanliness.
To bring some money for you to pay for education, to bring some money so you can buy some food. This is our contribution in order to build up the people of Papua New Guinea, Losaraga Market.
PNG Prime Minister Peter O'Neill thanked the New Zealand government for bringing such development into the country. It was at the opening where Mr. O'Neill reiterated that infrastructure development is shaping the future of this nation.
Close to 3 billion kinolixi. Emlo walking road, Emlo walking market, Emlo building school, Emlo making house sick, or beginning can go to school. Plenty work come up inside the country and the country blow you miss.
Mr. O'Neill said the national government will continue to invest in infrastructure development. Fabian Hakalitz, National EMTV News.
A U.S. agency this week listed 2 lion subspecies under the Endangered Species Act, providing them legal protection that will prevent hunters from importing trophies into the country. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service listed lions found mostly in West and Central Africa as endangered and lions in Eastern and Southern Africa as threatened, saying it would withhold permits from violators.
The measures enacted under the world's most powerful animal protection law will take effect in January 2016 and follows the extension of protection to African elephants and cheetahs. The two groups of lions covered by the listing once roamed the continent in the tens of thousands, but populations have been decimated to around 1,400 by loss of prey and habitat in killings by hunters, including many from local communities.
Oh, I feel very good, and I'm proud of the United States Fish and Wildlife Service. I think this, it's hard to say, given the scientific facts that we're dealing with, that it's a good day to be a lion, but it's a better day to be a lion.
Several African countries such as Zimbabwe and Burkina Faso still allow the tourists to hunt their lions, saying it provides an important source of revenue and helps support conservation. But many condemn trophy hunting. Hunters regularly import salt-packed skulls and skins of lions into the United States. Conservationists said the listing was significant since Americans make up around 2/3 of trophy hunters. Under the new measures, imports of rare subspecies found in West and Central Africa in smaller numbers in India will generally be prohibited. The agency said except where licensees can show they enhance the survival of the species.
This is a fantastic decision. Lions are literally under the gun. They're threatened by habitat loss, loss of prey, and retaliatory killings when they come into conflict with humans. And they're threatened by trophy hunting being done unsustainably. That last threat is the one that we can address. It's one that Americans can change. Americans are responsible for over half of all lions killed in Africa every year for sport. If we can curb that number and bring it down, well, then that's saving more individual lions. And with a population as low as 20,000 left in the wild, every individual matters.
Apart from the Endangered Species Act, hunters are barred under the Americans' Lacey Act from importing wildlife or parts of animals that have been illegally killed, transported or sold. France's Environment Ministry also said last month that no permits to import trophy lions would be issued. Australia has also passed similar measures. Jack Lapave Jr., MTV World News.
You're watching National MTV News. Trukai Sports is next. The PNG Hunters and Brisbane Broncos forge a partnership. We will be back with the details.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. As the 2016 Rugby League season draws closer, the PNG Hunters have forged a partnership with NRL club, the Brisbane Broncos. The Hunters will use the Broncos Stadium for training in their away matches. The news of the partnership comes as a boost to the team as they prepare for the coming season of the Intrust Super Cup.
The partnership between the Hunters and Broncos will see Hunters coach Michael Marum spend a week under NRL master coach Wayne Bennett next month. In an interview with former Kumul's coach Bob Bennett, he told Radio Australia's Pacific Beat that his brother was happy to host the Hunters. Bennett and the Broncos will go about their normal training, and Marum will have a look at how things are done at the team. Bob Bennett also said that Wayne has a soft spot for PNG through the connection he has with the Kumuls and is always keen to help out. However, he did rule out any possibility of any permanent PNG role for his brother, saying that Wayne is just too busy and it just wouldn't be possible. The agreement with the Hunters and Broncos will see the Hunters use Broncos facilities at their training base when they travel to Queensland to play their Intrust Super Cup matches next season. The last 2 years have been massive for the Hunters, and the current opportunities being presented to the team are good signs for the team to progress in the coming seasons. Dion Kombeng, National MTV Sports.
Papua New Guinea has dropped from 11th to 14th in the World Rugby League rankings. PNG's ranking in Rugby League has dropped over the years from 4th in the world to now 14th, but through many new league programs in the country, there is hope of improving our status. Elijah Lavette reports.
While PNG has dropped 3 places, 2 nations who will compete in the 2016 World Cup qualifiers in Europe are Spain, who goes up 5 places to be ranked 21 in the world, and the winners of the European Championship B, Serbia, who now sits outside the top 10. Wales move into 8th place after winning the 2015 European Championship, while Scandinavian nations Sweden and Denmark both move up 2 places as well. Jamaica also moved up 2 places to 27th after excellent performances in the recent World Cup qualifiers Americas, when they narrowly lost to USA and drew to Canada. The USA stays in 10th place after the recent qualification for the Rugby League World Cup 2017. The new world rankings issued by the Rugby League International Federation have set up the 2016 international season. The sport of rugby league is gaining popularity in Europe and America, and many countries are now taking part. The Rugby League World Cup 2017 will be one of the toughest to date, with many new talent being shown across the different qualified countries. Elijah Levitt, National EMTV Sports.
Port Moresby Rugby League will finally be able to settle some of the outstanding bills for this year. This was made possible through the assistance of Moresby North East MP Labi Amayo.
A long wait has ended with member for North East Labi Amayo coming to the rescue of the Port Moresby Rugby Football League with a cheque of 30,000 kina. This money will be used to pay outstanding bills of the Port Moresby Rugby Football League. On behalf of the member, Jack Ninkama was there to do the cheque presentation.
The members made commitment that he's been a very close associate of Port Moresby Rugby League. He's been a chairman of the league before he entered politics. And Rugby League, personally, he said as long as he's the member for North East, he will support Rugby League, not Port Moresby Rugby League, but all opposition leagues. He will continue to put money into Rugby League to support Rugby League.
Chairman of the Port Moresby Rugby League, James Sniper, was pleased to receive the cheque and thanked the member for his support in promoting Rugby League.
Vice Minister to come in the last 2 years to rescue us is very good, because the cheque is a big relief, because we have some bills still to pay.
Port Moresby Rugby League is looking to a great year come 2016 with the new look PRL Stadium and better structure of Port Moresby Rugby League. Mike Hoyme, National EMTV Sports.
Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. The PNG Sports Foundation recently held a planning and review workshop. Among discussions, a review of the 2015 Pacific Games and the way forward for the foundation. Elijah Lavette reports.
Reports based on this year's events were reviewed, as well as activities that the Sports Foundation has set up for next year.
We are working in consultation with the PNG Games, so every activity we align should meet the upskilling and capacity building of the PNG Games to make it successful. So that's a big challenge from us.
PNG Sports Foundation CEO Peter Chamalili Jr. said 2015 has been a significant year of sports in PNG through the government's intervention and sacrifices made.
And I must acknowledge all the members and all our leaders, although there's been differences about the substantial amount of funding that has been put into sports. I think for one moment in time, when we held that gold tally to be leading the Pacific, that proved that together we can achieve a lot of things.
PNG SF will be strategizing on having sporting programs and creating clear pathways and creating sporting activities in the country.
Be able to strategize to have every program or every sporting activity be experienced by the rest of the public, and that's our mandated role, is to be able to deliver programs and having clear pathways, creating activities for sportsmen and women in Papua New Guinea.
Sports has brought PNG together this year, and moving forward into the future, there is more that can be achieved with the different international events to be held in the country in the next 2 years. The platform for sports in PNG is taking shape. Elijah Lavette, National EMTV Sports.
It will be a sporting fest for the South's Basketball Association in the Moresby South Electorate. The association has received assistance from NCD Governor's Office to host a competition.
NCD Governor Powers Pakop is using sports as an intervention program for youths in the capital city to be trouble-free this Christmas. Terence Moka from the NCD Governor's Office presented 10,000 kina to the South's Basketball Association.
Other parts of the community to celebrate Christmas. And as we all know, Port Moresby is multicultural, or it's almost a mini Papua New Guinea, and it's a very hard task to try to unite our people together to live in harmony and celebrate Christmas. So sports is one way of bringing people together.
Basketball competition will be organized for this Christmas and New Year's period. Association President David Peter thanked the Governor's Office for supporting youths who will be partaking in this competition.
For the National South Basketball League, I'd like to thank the Governor and the National Capital District Commission for the contribution. They supported us last year. Last year they gave us a total of 25,000 kina, and we actually provided a report back to the Good Governor's Office, and we also wrote back to him and say we gave our appreciation, word of appreciation to the Governor.
Meanwhile, the NCD Governor's Office is not only supporting the basketball code, but also other sporting events around the Port Moresby suburbs. Mai Koime, National EMTV Sports.
And then in Strukai Sports, we'll be back with the Christmas weather after the break.
True Kai Sports.
Taking a look at the weather for the next 24 hours. In the southern region, Port Moresby, cloudy with rain. The same as well in Daru and Kerma. Cloudy and showers expected in Alotau, and showers and thunderstorms in Popondetta, Oro Province. To the Momase region, showers and thunderstorms expected in Ley and Wau. Cloudy and showers in Madang and Wewak, and cloudy with showers as well in Vanimore. To the New Guinea Islands region, showers and thunderstorms expected in Lorengau, Kavieng, Kokopo, Rabaul, Kimbe and Buka. And in the Highlands region, cloudy with rain for Mount Hagen, fog and rain for Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabag. And to a look at the forecast for small ships for the next 24 hours. But first, there is a strong wind warning current for all coastal waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait and Daru to Kiwai Island, to Kerma, Yule Island to Hood Point and all Milne Bay Islands. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait and Daru, seas 1.5 to 2.5 meters. Waters of Daru to Kiwai Island, Kerma, Yule Island, Hood Point, Samarai Island, with waters of Samarai Island to Cape Vogel, Finchafen and waters of New Britain, seas 0.5 to 1.5 meters. Waters of eastern and western Milne Bay Islands, with waters west of Madang, Bogia, Wewak, Aitape, Vanimo and northern PNG Indonesian border, with waters of Manus and its western group of islands, and waters of New Island to Bougainville, seas 1.0 to 2 meters. And waters of Finchafen, including Vitias Strait, Siasi Islands to Long Island to Madang, seas 0.5 to 1.3 meters. And I'll look at the ocean forecast for PNG areas. First of all, in the Coral Sea, seas slight to moderate with northwest to southwesterly winds at 10 to 20 knots. Solomon Sea, seas slight to moderate with southwest to southwesterly winds at 10 to 20 knots with gusts. Bismarck Sea, seas moderate to patches rather rough with northwesterly winds at 15 to 25 knots. And Pacific Ocean, seas rather rough with west to southwesterly winds at 20 to 25 knots. And before we go, a conversation between two friends on the way to school has led 5 amazing children to visit the children's ward at the Port Moresby General Hospital this week. Known as the Little Five Rascals, Aliyah, Kala and Conrad Priest and Oscar and Hamish McVeigh formed a kids club to help other children their age. The children dressed up in red, black and white and brought over 140 gifts to the sick children at Port Moresby General Hospital. The gifts were bought with money the club raised from selling coffee and cake at the Avenel Engineering Compound.
On behalf of our club, I would like to thank AES, especially Dom Evanil, for matching how much we raised and donating money. I would also like to thank Meat House for donating the wrapping paper and the loaves of breads. And lastly, our parents and friends for supporting us.
And finally, to end the news, a look at our top stories. Appeals for a man who dedicated his life serving others, policemen sentenced to 30 years for murder, and the Hunters to train at the Brisbane Broncos home ground in 2016. And that has been the news, sports and weather for you. On behalf of the entire EMTV News team, I'm Mary Batulo. Pleasant viewing. Merry Christmas.